So, hello, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome everybody to today's show, and we have our hosts are Casey Hamilton, myself Diddy, and Ruth Heisman. And on today's Women of BSV interview, we have Rachael Brady, who is one of the co-founders of Real World BSV. Welcome to the show, Rachael.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
So, that's not a problem. We're glad you're here. So, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience? Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you're from, and how you came across Bitcoin.
So I'm the co-founder of Real World BSV. My friend Jay, he came up with that idea and needed someone to help him build a website. And so I've heard of cryptocurrency in the past, but a lot of it was more of like negative, stuff about what do you call it, like ransomware.
Oh,
I don't know if it's different. Like in America, like a lot of people just look at it as a negative thing. So
Mm.
my friend Jay found BSV and he said, this is something you can kind of earn by building and not, just throwing money at it. And so I thought that was really interesting. And, and you also don't have to, build a lot of equipment like miners to, get into BSV. And so that was like, let's say December of 2020. And then I started learning a little bit more about it. And we created Real World BSV about in May. And so our big goal was to just figure out what kind of stuff you can do with it. And we realized like not a lot of people really have ever heard of it, where we're at. Um, But yeah, go ahead and ask me some questions because I kind of like ramble.
No, that's okay. You're doing
we
great.
like rambling. We like
Yeah,
rambling.
we're pretty good at that ourselves.
So,
So you're pretty new to the whole cryptocurrency scene then, which is interesting in itself, actually. What? How did you sort of find your way into BSV then? Was it by your friend?
Yeah, it was
Jay?
just through my friend. He had me set up a Twitch account,
Mm.
and I thought that was really interesting. I at first I didn't like the idea of actually paying money to create posts because I'm used to everything being free on the internet.
Yeah.
And but then I liked the idea because it's kind of democratic where people can they'll like your post for a couple cents, and if you don't get any likes or any attention, then it means you're not providing enough and whatever people that want to see, I guess,
Value.
entertainment
Yeah.
or value.
No, I think Craig Wright would say a meritocracy is sort of the point of everything that he believes in. So yeah,
Hmm.
definitely approaching it from the right angle there. So you know, you've developed a lovely website. In fact, I might put it on the screen. Can you tell us a little bit about all the things that you do on your website? Because it seems like
Sure.
you do quite a few things.
There's a lot of stuff on there. We started out with doing reviews on like was it hand cash and money button, and then we started
Yeah.
looking into money buttons tokens. And so Jay asked me to create a arcade section. And so what we do is so a lot of people have like tokens they can give out through money button, and so we uh, allow people go to that section of the arcade and they can spend those tokens to play games. A lot of those games are not, those games are not owned by us. Those are from other websites where you're allowed to embed it.
Oh, I
And,
see.
yeah, so for fun, like it's a way to learn how to play with Money Button's API. And it also encourages, people to get their tokens out there too. So we have, I think the one's called Shock the World token that we had for a while. Jay may have changed a couple of things on there recently, but that's like I think one of our favorite parts of the site because we're trying to also get younger kids to develop a game and host it on there. And then people can pay, you know, tokens. So you're not really using, you know, actual money. And, you know, it's a fun way to learn all of that. The other parts of our site that we focus on is our podcast part, where we try to do one podcast a week. We just finished one yesterday, and then I have to get that up probably after this interview. And the other stuff is I forgot. So the really big part of our project is the travel, Real BSV Road Edition. And what we were trying to do is to travel across, you know, the America and go to businesses that take BSV. And I told my friend, I'm like, well, there's not, you know, it's really hard to even buy BSV. So they're really
America's tough, actually, isn't it?
It is. And the state that we're in, 2 years ago, we were pretty open to cryptocurrency. And then I forget the name of the person. I think it was a treasurer. They were taking, people could pay like their taxes in crypto, which is, you know, really nice. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people just weren't, I think there wasn't a lot of like interest in it. So I think they only had like 10, you know, businesses paying taxes through crypto. So they shut it down. And then, so we're trying to figure out how we can approach our state government to see if we can get, you know, to take BSV, because I forget the name of that one company. That Money Button is owned by Fabric.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They just released their exchange, I think, and but we can't use it just because of the state that we're in.
Yeah.
So that's a little, you know, it's disappointing, but it's, you know, with BSV, there's just so much stuff you can do with it. It's, you know, so we did find a couple businesses. We're going to go to Florida, and I forget the name of he has different companies, but he makes shirts. And so we're going to do
Zero Comps.
Yes, that's all right.
Yeah.
So we're going to do an episode there, I think next month.
Oh, cool.
Our first show was supposed to be in Colorado at a place called Shreddy's Tacos, but there wasn't there just wasn't a lot of like communication, and we didn't want to, you know, buy a plane ticket and then show up and then you know, not have everybody there that we need to talk to. But we liked that idea because they also made some tokens where they were handing them out to customers, and you can exchange those tokens in for food.
So you're really taking this idea of BSV in the real world to heart then, and actually showing up at these businesses, not just doing a Zoom with them.
Yeah. And so the page that you're on, that's our big next project for Yellow Springs, Ohio. And it's a pretty neat community, a lot of, you know, open-minded people. And so we're going to go there and just talk to some businesses. And, you know, I think we're going to use, I think, Simply Cash, and have them, you know, try it out just to see how it is. Because, you know, like if a lot of, you know, I would call it like merchants, they like PayPal for small businesses, like you have to pay a fee on top of everything. And, you know, using BSV, there's, you know, a very, very small fee. And
fractions of a cent.
Yeah. And it's very fast. So we want to be able to demonstrate that. And one of the ideas that Jay came up with was to have people donate tablets for us to, you know, get all that set up. And I'm not sure if he's planning on giving them a tablet. I think we were just going to, you know, like present a tablet and kind of show them how to do the transactions. And then I do know we were going to give people like $5 in BSV. And, you know, because that's you know, when someone tells you, hey, I'm going to give you some free money, that gets them more, you know, they want to be more
their eyes
hard.
light up a bit. Yeah. They start to listen.
Yeah, definitely a good
quite.
Yeah. So that the Yellow Springs project, I don't think that's something that's long-term. So I believe we're going to try that in spring, just so we can kind of have everything ready. With the website, all of this stuff I'm just learning kind of just on the fly. I came from like a Linux background back in right after I graduated high school. Like I built a computer and installed Linux on it. I just knew I was just lucky and had a lot of friends and mentors that were very nice and helped me out. And but I never really got into programming just because I was just busy. When you're working full time, it's all, when you get off work after 40 hours, you just, you don't want to take all that extra time
No,
to do that. But then, I still wanted to learn a little bit. So this was an opportunity for me to kind of dig into Python and JavaScript and
cool.
Next is PHP. Once we get everything over onto our server, like right now we're using AWS to host everything in a database, so that when people like buy something of money or a token, that saves, so they don't have to go buy the video every single time they're on our site. And so we got
I see. So you can track visitors and see that they've returned to the website.
And then the next thing we did was I made an NFT, so people can buy for $20. They buy the NFT, and then they go to our website and they can view all content for as many times as they want. And there's no. Yeah, so like instead of like swiping the token or paying money through Money Button, you just go to the page and it will load for you. And if you do click on, so like there's this top static detector.
That's intriguing. Tell us about it.
So I run a ghost hunting group. It is
ghost hunting group. You got to slow down and say that again. She runs a ghost hunting group. That's like awesome as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. One of my favorite shows is Most Haunted. Do you get Most Haunted in America?
What is it called?
They get Zach Bagans with Ghost Adventures.
Ghost Adventures, yeah, you guys. What's his name? Zach Bagans.
Zach Bagans, yeah.
Don't you get Most Haunted over there? I bet you do.
Yeah, Most Haunted. You're right, we do.
Yeah.
It's been it's been forever since I've watched an actual ghost hunting show, though. But they're great. Like my group has been we're like 10 years old. We've been around for a long time. It's me and then my friend Tabitha Hawk, and I'm kind of like promoting her because she runs a computer business in Tennessee, and for her free time she travels the world and does photography, and so she's the Tennessee part of TOP, so it's Tennessee Ohio Paranormal Society.
Nice.
And so we had members come and go, everyone just gets busy or moves on to something else. Do you actually
go out to houses and do visuals there?
Yeah, so we do investigations at houses and businesses. I have a new project where I'm visiting each county where I look at stuff registered in the National Historical Registry for in America. And it's really neat. Just, I like learning about, old buildings and being able to have access to it, which is cool. But we have a lot of stuff.
Like,
have you ever seen a ghost then?
Well,
Rachel, or have you ever recorded ghostly activity?
So I have recorded EVPs.
Cool.
Which is, what is that called? Electronic voice phenomena.
Voice.
Yeah.
Is that where they use a radio to tune?
So you use a voice recorder, but you can use there is something called a spirit box, which uses radio, but it gives me a headache because
it's a lot of white noise, isn't it? Interference and everything.
So it's scanning through channels, and it's but we've had we've had EVPs, we've had stuff just happen out loud that we heard and caught on camera. I've never caught, an apparition though on camera, for all these years.
Hardly anyone has though. I mean, even Most Haunted been doing it for years, and then they catch things being moved around, thrown around, don't they? But they don't get actual ghosts on camera.
Right.
Really.
And I don't know what I would do, if I actually saw like a shadowy figure chasing me.
I would
I would
shit
probably,
my pants.
that's probably what I would do. I'd be like cry and like run and leave all my equipment there.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah,
wouldn't see me
that's
for
what I was
dust.
saying. It's very brave of you to be going to these places,
Definitely.
and like actually looking for that. That's
No, I think it's
fun.
awesome. Yvette Fielding lives just down the road from me.
Oh,
The
does
lady
she?
who presents Most Haunted. Yeah, she lives
Oh,
where
that's
I live.
awesome.
Yeah, don't want to say
Well,
where, but she lives very nearby.
on
What's
Ghost, on Ghost Adventures, they have this camera, and do you have this? It's like a camera, and it picks up the 3D figure. Have you seen
Oh
it?
yeah,
It's like,
the Connect thing.
yeah. Do you?
I don't own one, but I do have, my friend has it. She has the newer version that's like connected to a tablet, because the older ones was it was a lot of equipment you had to take with you. It was like the
Yeah.
big webcam for the Xbox, and then you had to connect it to your laptop on top, and then you had to like make sure everything was running okay. But yeah, now it's a little bit easier. You just buy the tablet for it. And I actually did see a really cool thing with that at a school that I was at. This was in Poasttown, Ohio. It's called Poasttown Elementary. There's a guy that bought that school, and he lives in it as his house with his family. And we were inside one of the classrooms, and my the friend like points the Connect camera at a desk, and there's this little stick figure sitting down, and I'm like, and right beside me, and it made my I would goosebumps.
Yeah.
Just seeing that, and I thought that was really neat. Yeah, we get a lot of that's a lot of neat, fun stuff to look at when you have stuff appearing on your equipment.
Yeah.
There are also a lot of ghost hunters that do not want to use equipment, and I understand that. A lot of people that are sensitive. I want to say I'm very dumb on that side. Like I do, like I do not feel like cold spots or or anything like that. But one of my friends, she's a she says she's a psychic, and she does Reiki. And it's very interesting. Like she'll feel like a cold spot, or she'll feel dizzy, and then something happens on my equipment. Like my KT meter will go off, which measures like electric spikes. And and it's whenever she feels cold. So I think it's cool.
Do you guys ever use like far infrared or the different camera light spectrums and see?
Oh yes, I have a box over here beside me that has probably, I don't know how much everything's in there, but like I have a Fleur camera, which is like the like rainbowy looking screen where it's like it detects like hot and cold. There's I can't remember what show that was. It was like a traveling show where they're at the Chernobyl incident, where they're like recording like this factory, and there's like this little figure that's like a hot like red figure on it, and that's what they're using. It's a Fleur. And so I always wanted one. I ended up buying it. It's like $700. It's expensive hobby. And so I build equipment. So I build equipment for our group, and I also give out tutorials because it does get expensive. So like on that site, you see the static detector, so you can. That's also on YouTube. Jay wanted that on there just to kind of throw attention at other stuff besides just BSV. But you can learn how to build this static detector where the LED lights up when something walks by it. And that would cost less than $5. And if you go buy that somewhere, that's going to cost you like $35. So it's something, kind of easy to make if you have that kind of stuff laying around. The other stuff we make are infrared lights, and that's another tutorial I've been working on for a while. So
and how does an infrared light pick it up? Sorry, I'm not familiar with that. How does that work?
So you have to have a camera that has a infrared like sensor on it, and so it's a camera that has night vision. So
I see.
When you have an infrared light, you can kind of amplify like a flashlight in the room. So because some cameras with night vision, do not have a little tiny like LED, and it doesn't light up the whole room very well. So it's nice to have extra infrared lights, you know, near it, so that kind of lights up the whole room and you can see everything.
Oh, I see.
And a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people like to, you know, go suns at nighttime, so it's always lights out, so it's all creepy. But
I
I've
know
done
that
my
always
big,
gets to me in the shows that
yeah,
I see. You can always see the room quite well, but then if they turn their night vision off, you can see that they're in the absolute pitch
yeah,
black.
very
You know?
dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's also full spectrum cameras. I don't really like those because the type of LEDs you have to use are very bright. They're like, they kind of look like a rainbow. I had one before and I ended up selling it just because you might as well just like turn on the lights in the room because it was just like lighting up everything. But yeah, it's fun, and you know, like as you can tell, like I like technology.
Yeah.
And, you know,
No,
all
for
the
sure.
equipment.
Yeah, that's coming through loud and clear. I always think one of the reasons why they turn the lights off is because I reckon if there are spirits, and I'm like, you know, the jury's out on that for me, but if there are, then they probably feed on the fear energy that people are putting out, don't they?
Yeah.
So people don't
If
get
everything's
frightened unless it's dark, and then
Mm.
when it's dark, presumably, if they're using the kind of amassed energy of the people who are in the
Oh
room.
yeah, and that's the thing. Some people do. They try to provoke, you know, whatever that's there, just to see what happens. And I was
Yeah.
with some other group, and this guy was yelling and cussing, you know, out loud, and he got scratched on his back. And I was standing right beside him, and you know, and he lifted up his shirt and showed it, and we took
Yeah.
pictures. It freaked me out.
No,
I'm
definitely.
I'm a skeptic, so I don't.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of explanations to stuff happening that at first, you know, you think it's a ghost. But I also had stuff happen that I can't explain. Where like I was at that same school in Post Town. My friend and I were inside a room that I think it's the dry storage room. So you're inside like a bunch of like cinder blocks wall, very quiet. Between us, we heard this loud growl, and yeah, we were just, and it always happens when you start just, when you're not looking and you just kind of like take a break and you're talking amongst yourself, that's when stuff seems to happen. So that's when we heard the growl and we just kind of paused. And they're like, did we really just hear that? And we played back all of our, you know, cameras and got that you know, on, and I put that on YouTube on the Tops like channel. I may put those videos on Road BSV. Jay, like I don't want to confuse people and have them, you know, go to Road BSV and then, you know, see all this ghost hunting stuff. But Jay likes that idea of having that on there just to, if people, you know, I guess if you get bored.
We're doing similar sorts of things. You know, we're all real people who've got lots of different interests, and I don't, you know, you shouldn't be half a person, should you? I think you should share all of your interests. So I think that's cool.
Yeah,
it's just such a compliment to everything we're already doing to, you know, build those tools to further it in all these different ways that this ecosystem allows. So it's not surprising at all. I'm totally gonna have to go check out your website.
Yeah, no, that's cool. You know, if you ever come to England, you'd love it because it's just stuffed full of very,
Castles,
very old
houses.
buildings filled
I
with
would never
ghosts.
leave.
Where I am in
historic district area too, in St. Charles, Missouri, and there is people that do ghost tours and stuff around here.
See, I want to go everywhere. I don't have a lot of time. I need more time to do that.
I was going to say, where I am in Nottingham, we've got the oldest inn in the country, and it was I think it was 1189 it was built, and it's built into sandstone, and they do ghost like overnighters in there, and you know that's like because they go down into the sand, you know, the sandstone rooms and everything, and the inn is actually built into the stone itself, and that is a really interesting experience. Definitely, just hairs stand up on the back of your neck if you do an all-nighter in one of those places. But yeah,
you guys are so lucky. I'm jealous.
Yeah, no, there's just, you know, 15th century pubs on every street around.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we don't have, I think everything's like from the 1800s, that, you know, there's not a lot of you know, because we're still young, I guess.
But then presumably you've also got like ancient sort of Indian
Yeah, that is
grounds
true.
as
We
well.
have
Yeah.
actually where I'm at, I'm located up north of Columbus in Dublin, Ohio, and we have a lot of Indian mounds. And I think they're called the Adena Indians. And a lot of people, I haven't tried it yet, but some people have brought in like a compass, and then when they're standing by the mounds, the compass goes all crazy. It's like not, you know, like the needle moves around and doesn't, you know, want to stay still. So I think that's pretty, you know, interesting.
I bet there's some pretty
Yeah,
powerful ghosts, you know, from
yeah,
that era. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
There's
that's awesome.
a big prison, or I don't want to say prison, but it's like a psych ward in West Virginia, and across the street is a giant, you know, burial ground. Um, and that place has a lot of activity there. And I think like that place has been on a lot of ghost hunting shows. So I can't remember the name of it. I think it's like Transalini Asylum, but it looks like a castle. It's really big.
Oh, asylums are creepy, just right
Yeah.
from the get-go, aren't they? I mean, ghosts or not, they're creepy as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. Do you have difficulty getting permission to go in these places, or is it?
So those places they already offer ghost hunts, so you can you just donate money to do it. I get a lot of emails from private residences where what usually happens is someone will be watching like a ghost hunting show, and then they start like, you know, hearing noises and stuff in their own house. And so they email me and they want me to come over and investigate, and you know, and I do that, and sometimes we have stuff that does happen, and you know, it's just weird. But I like to do a lot of research. So I'll research the history of the property that they live on, and then around the area to see, you know, what kind of stuff's over there. And like there was one house where the previous resident had a mental illness, and wrote a ton of like, I think Bible scripture in their basement and all over their furnace and everything. And they try to clean it, you know, paint over it. And there's some parts where they didn't, like you could still see it. And that place just had like a, you know, weird feeling when she just walked inside the house. Just, you know, like just because of the energy from it. But you know, but then there's people that will do cleansings, and that, you know, I've been a part of those, and they seem to, you know, help. And I guess it's, you know, maybe it's just your mindset of going in.
No, I'm sure I'd be terrified from the word go. I mean, I love watching those shows, but like I'd be absolutely hopeless on an actual ghost hunt, I'm sure.
But you know, it's everyone says that the first time. So like I was being very scared the first time I went out. And then after that, I was okay. And then I took my friend to a place called Sedansville Rectory, and that's in Cincinnati, Ohio. And that was also in one of the Ghost Adventure episodes. And they had like dog fighting in the house, and there's the church beside it, and there's a bunch of like scratches all over the door frames and stuff because the people like had, you know, dogs shut in the bathrooms, you know, for long hours. And we we had that place was just weird. Like it kind of messes with you where you hear stuff being thrown, you know, like on the second floor. There are a lot of YouTube videos of Sedansville where people are in the basement and they get locked in the basement because the door that's to it, if you shut it, it self-locks. And so you have to make sure you prop the door open. And so we did that. We were in the basement and we heard walking around above us. And we made sure everything was locked because it's kind of in a bad area anyway. We run up there and don't see anything. And then we start hearing stuff being thrown on the second floor. So we run up the second floor. There's nobody there, but there's this chest set. And we go in there, and there's one of the chess pieces are on the floor. And what we do, so when we go to like a place like sedansville, we do like a sweep when we first walk inside, just to get video footage and photos to just in case something gets moved later. And so we did review that, and that piece was on the the chessboard in the beginning of that.
Wow.
And that, yeah, so we have a video of that too. Not, unfortunately, we didn't have a camera in that room where the piece was moved, but you have there's a video of us kind of like freaking out, and then running up to see what it was.
Well, I mean, that's one of the things, like, it's so much cheaper now to do these investigations. Back when I first started watching Most Haunted, it was maybe like 2000 or something. It was like a long time ago now. And I think it would cost them like £1 million to stage an event in a house, a live streamed event.
Oh, wow.
Because they had to run all the cabling and have the big cameras.
The production crew, really, and all
I mean, it was a big thing, wasn't it? But now they can go and do it, just take their phones with them, stream
you're right.
it live, don't need to be all mic'd up or anything. So it's really come on a lot, hasn't it? So I think if there's ever been a time to sort of catch ghosts in action, that's probably now, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you want to do your own investigation, you just take your camera with you and go to your local cemetery. And like here, like they technically close at dusk, but no one's going to kick you out of the cemetery if you're there, at night. As long as you're being, respectful and and all that.
Not desecrating any graves,
right? I do recommend to not investigate your house that you're living in.
No,
you're going to be there for until you decide to move out.
Good point. I think the house that Yvette Fielding lives in is meant to be really haunted. So she's like broken all those rules already. So, but I have a nasty feeling that maybe they're just followed around by ghosts pretty much on a continual basis now. It's like they've picked them up as parasites almost.
I can see that.
Yeah, you can imagine, couldn't you? Anyhow, but back to Bitcoin, I suppose. Though that is a fascinating topic, which we all clearly enjoy.
Come back to
I mean, this website, I love the fact that you're really focused on actually using BSV, which I think in a lot of the crypto space is not something people focus on. They just focus on hodling or just hanging on to it for dear life, and it's totally the wrong approach. So you've constructed a heck of a website here in short time with all these different sort of facets to it. I mean, you've even got a shop here, haven't you?
Yeah, so that shop, some of that stuff on there is links to the person's product. So it doesn't actually go into, our shopping cart there. For example, the smoke stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
We were sent those as a like a promotion. So we did like a video of those. And when you click on that takes you to their website. And then so we have like a bunch of different stuff on there. We have tokens. I make tarot bags, and that was like one of our first like tests, because we wanted to see like how can we sell something in BSV through WordPress, WooCommerce. And then we found out that you can just post a link on there. You don't actually have to use the shopping cart if you don't want to. Those bags, like I have those on Etsy, but I sell those actually at conventions. But we just threw that on there just, to test out the site.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So, but it just goes to show as well that you can set up referral links as well, can't you? And make money through referral links. So maybe another page with that on is Casey.
Yeah, so I think we had some referrals on there. One was with Kivo. So every time someone would click on the Kivo banner, we would make like a couple cents or whatever for that. I think we need to reset that up because I'm not sure what other but we definitely want to have more referral links on there. I mean, we need to put Women of BSV on there too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
we should.
So it's not quite live yet, it's not far off. When I first saw your logo, I kind of thought, they've made a wallet, but you haven't made a wallet.
No, I know.
It is a bouncing wallet. No, but you know what I mean, though, because that was my first sort of impression that went after seeing the logo. But
yeah. So there's a guy named Nate. He does Ashcan Comics. I think that's the name of it.
That's down there.
He created that. Yeah. So he created that logo for us.
it's
And
nice.
he did a really good job. Like we were like, yeah, that's a good idea. The wallet. That would be fun. Like maybe one day I will build a wallet, like a digital one.
Yeah, that would be
but
cool. Yeah, it's not easy to do though. I don't think
No.
it's very much quite a high level thing to do.
Yeah.
Just ask the hand cash people. It's taken them a couple of years to really refine it.
Yeah, all this stuff's hard. The APIs with
Yeah.
hand cash and the money button's really great, because they have enough information in their docs where we can integrate that into our site. But the one issue is when something goes down, they won't tell you. And so,
No, it's a good
if you think
point.
something's
Yeah.
like, I always feel like I broke something on the site and then, I'm going down
No,
this list.
it's a good point. I think that's why Twitch built their own wallet in the end, was because
Yeah, that makes
it was
sense.
up and down. And as you say, you didn't necessarily get a notification. So yeah, no, don't blame me there. But it's a really good wallet, but it's not necessarily got 100% uptime.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like this is super awesome. I love the diversity of the whole thing, and just the fact that you're using it all is so refreshing.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. And like, are you developing your programming skills as you go? Do you feel like you might be ready to start thinking about making an app at some point?
Yeah, actually, going back to ghost hunting, I do want to make an app with like a database where people can input haunted places per county.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and then I could use
like a searchable database.
Blockchain. Yeah, I could use a blockchain for that. And that's two things I can learn where I'm building an app and then also learn more about the BSV blockchain.
Yeah, I wonder how else you could use that. I have to give that some thought. But that's definitely an idea with legs, isn't it? I think. Yeah. And particularly from the perspective of these are all kind of old places to begin with, but to have that historical record that there's paranormal activity there could be quite valuable information in the future, Yeah.
I mean, there's a big community as well, isn't there? Sort of worldwide of ghost hunters. So
yeah, and over here, like a lot of people watch those ghost hunting shows, and then they want to trespass, people's private property. And I think there should be an app out there that will, tell you like, hey, that you should, you can't be at this property, even though you saw it on TV. Because people do get hurt. There's like teenagers that got shot on a person's private property because they scared the person. They're like, because they weren't expecting someone to be walking into their
particularly house. In America. I mean, so many guns. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's an issue though, isn't it?
Yeah,
if you trespass on somebody's house. No, that's absolutely brilliant. I love it. We'll have to try and liaise with you and see if we've got any overlaps in the things we're doing, because I feel like your website with all these different sort of facets to it is coming from a similar sort of direction that we are. So
yeah, and I would love to make like an NFT for you or something, like because I'm working on a tutorial for that. But so it's through Money Button though. It's not through RelayX.
Okay.
Yeah, so
we're actually just doing one ourselves on RelayX, but like I haven't done it yet. So yeah, we're working on that too.
I think I did upload, but I didn't get all the way. I think something happened with my connection, and so
oh right, it didn't complete.
I've uploaded the video. So the video is actually, it was uploaded through Bico Media, so that's on there. But there was literally, I think there was an error, and I couldn't continue any further. So got that far, uploading a video onto Bico Media. So
so you don't have to use Bico Media. You can use any URL for your image. If that's what you're trying to do.
Okay, so on RelayX, I think it sent me to Bico Media, but that's really good to know. Yeah, you need to give us a bit of a lesson.
No, I could be wrong about that. I know, like when I set up
Well, if you're doing
one
money
of the
buttons, it
tokens.
could be
Yeah,
a
maybe it's
different functionality. Yeah.
Well, I think so. I think RelayX, didn't they make their upload limit like 10 meg recently or something? But we're trying to upload a pretty big file, aren't we? So I don't know whether that's causing it problems.
That is hard. I think the other thing you could do is kind of like have the large file hosted somewhere, but then somehow tag the the unique what do you call it, like the blockchain key to it.
Yeah.
And that way, so you don't have to worry about like uploading this huge file on the blockchain.
Yeah, I'll just push the hash of it on.
And
Well, I don't know. Did you figure out how much it was going to cost, Diddy? Did it give you an estimate?
It was it was a 12-second video, and it cost me about $3.
Oh, right. So you
wow.
paid. Okay.
But it was, I think was it not 4K? I think it's like a 4K video as well. So, it was, but yeah, it's about a 12-second video, and I'm sure it was about $3. But it broke down into 48 pieces. I mean, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I'm sure it was about $3. I could be wrong, but I think it was about that much.
Well, that's not bad for 6 meg, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because it was 6 meg file, I think.
When I did, I think I've mentioned this before, but a long time ago, there was a data blast, and I uploaded a music track, and it was about a 3-minute music track, and it wasn't large in any way whatsoever, however, it broke down into, again, I probably don't remember, but about 148 3-second files. So it took a long time, and it was about $8 to upload this track at that particular point in time as well. But so things have definitely kind of improved,
moved on.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, we've been around since it's a bit of earlier days, Rachel. So we like, you've been spared a lot of the pain of the bit more less evolved apps. But I still think we've got a long way to go, though. Don't you think, in terms of usability and just being easy to pick up and understand by the general public? I think is still we've still got a lot of room.
Yeah, that's a long
improve.
way to go.
Yeah,
and I mean, is there anybody else in your life apart from Jay that's into crypto, or are you, it, as it were?
There's really nobody. I mean, there's people that I have friends that like to talk about it, but nobody really wants to touch it yet, just because I don't think there's like a regulation over here. I don't know. There's just I feel like there's a lot of changes in the tech
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just getting a bad reputation, and with good reason. A lot of it is sort of Ponzi scheme type scammy stuff, and I don't think DeFi is helping, honestly. But I mean, this is the thing. This is really, I think we've got in common with you is that we're trying to bring a much more use-oriented position to BSV. So we're trying to show the ways in which it enhances your life, rather than the kind of the pat image that we've been given by the media so far. So we're trying to sort of counter a lot of the narratives that have gone off track a bit. I mean, where do you see it going in a few years from now? Do you think that you'll still be as interested in BSV in 2 years' time, or do you think it's going to change the world, or do you fear for its future? I mean, what's your feeling?
I mean, that's a big loaded question.
No, I know.
I think it's always going to be around, because people have been building on it for a long time, and you too, like you guys, saw the evolution of it. You're there first. I think it's up to the companies, like hand cash and money button on how they are using, BSV. If they, I think Jay mentioned Apple was hiring for people to use, or developers on hand cash.
Oh, really? Wow.
I think that's what he said. I need to find the article on that, because that's a big thing.
That would be a big deal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is cool that they've got this kind of platform for apps And it's a bit like an app store of its own on Handcash, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that is a great development, I think, because it means that subsequent people can have a much shorter path to getting seen by potentially millions of people, because Handcash had to go through all the hoops, didn't they, of passing the Apple App Store and the Android Store and all of their requirements. But then if you're basically essentially running a website that then can connect through the Handcash Connect system, then you've got sort of instant eyeballs and a lot less requirements to meet. So from that perspective, I think it's really good for developers. It's a really good time to get in and start looking at it, because it's the barrier to entry is really lowered a lot since, over the last 2 years. So yeah,
I think so. It seems like like in Europe, like you guys know a lot more about BSV, and over here in America, it's more just BTC. And
I think
I'm interested in that.
I think London is a real big hub though for BSV, because obviously Craig is
Right.
based over here, and like Bitstocks, we've got a bank, we've got a Bitcoin bank,
Oh wow.
So, and they started in London first, and the Bitstocks Media, and then they reached out to Europe itself. So I do think, I think you're right. I think because a lot of people in the States are money go up, and then if and all the FUD that's been going off, and all the attacks and everything, and it does seem that then people were allowed to build over in this country, and then they came full force, and it's like okay, but it has made it difficult for the States, which is interesting.
Yeah,
I
it's
find
hard
very...
because like my spouse, like he went to Ohio State, and he got a degree in computer science, and there's really nothing in developing on the blockchain at all for anything. It's a lot of people that are the headhunters. It's all military, so I just don't think there's a lot of developers that are interested in the blockchain stuff, because they're kind of like taken by military contracts to build apps for scary stuff for that.
That's where the money is currently.
Yeah, you're right. That's where all the money is.
So, do you think that there is a lack of developers then, in like just in general? Do you think there is actually there's a big lack of developers? So it's something that's needed more of then.
Yes.
So getting more kids involved in STEM and in technology, and getting them more interested in coding.
So I mean, like we do have a lot of STEM programs, but I think there just needs to be more awareness to developing on the blockchain, because most people, when they think of developers, they want to build video games, or they want to build something that will make a lot of money, and that's when you get like doing government contracts and stuff. But I don't know.
Have you heard about the Block Dojo over here in the UK?
I have just seen that name.
And they are basically angel investors, and I think that they're going to try and fund, I think it was 40 startups over the next year, but they're actually going to do it in several different cities. So I think that it's not just the UK. I think it's going to come to America as well. Probably a few cities in America. I'm not sure which ones.
Oh, wow.
If you ask Richard Boas on Twitter, he'll tell you. Okay. And so, but there's a lot of money available actually for apps. I mean, maybe you could talk to them about your sort of haunted house app.
A great idea.
That would be fun.
Well, I do think fun things are really important, because it can't all be enterprise and dead serious and stuff. A lot of times I think traction really builds when we're appealing to the masses, and you don't necessarily even have to mention BSV. The fact that it's running on BSV could just be a side thing. I mean, you can still take payment in fiat and things like that. It doesn't have to always be BSV, but just use the things that BSV is good at, But the Block Dojo, I have look at it, because it might be something that applies to you in this case, because they're trying to incubate startups, and lots of them, and they have a lot of kind of facilities, I think, where they're going to help mentor. They're going to give you, like, 30 hours of mentorship and lots of kind of graphic design assistance and marketing assistance and things like that. So it's more than just an angel investor. I think it's a whole kind of system that they've got going.
That's very important. And you guys are too, because you're getting the word out there for BSV, and that's another thing that's lacking. Is that people just don't know what it is.
The outreach, for sure. Yeah. And trying to get in front of, just people who are not necessarily as tech savvy as we are, or as interested in obscure cryptocurrency stuff, and pull them in with these more mainstream and just sort of hobby like ideas. I mean, it would be great, wouldn't it, if we had like a BSV Etsy or something like that? Maybe that's something that needs to be built.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt. Etsy can even have like a people can pay in BSV. Like there's nothing hurting them to have like that extra option.
Just completely just incorporate a different payment system. There's so many websites actually that I think that apparel websites as well, which would be really good as well if you just could approach them and there is this alternative payment method that actually will help your business, because you will save money because the transaction fees are so low. And actually that's what I was going to say about, you did a video of hand cash and you sent $10 and you must have sent this $10 about 40 times and literally it was still $10.
Jay came up with that, and he's like, we need to get this done, because that was like one of our, I think it was like the second video that we did, and it's very smart. Like we are showing how BSV works, and what it's not, we're not trying to show like, oh, you can treat it like stocks, like how BTC is. BSV is different. It's totally different, thing for retailers and small businesses and big businesses. We just need more people to jump in on it and trust it.
You can definitely go and buy your cup of coffee with BSV, and it's not going to cost you £5.
Yeah, totally. And it resolves instantly, doesn't it? There's no lag time or anything. There's no mempool getting blocked or filled. I mean, that's the thing, is that businesses could start using BSV tomorrow with absolutely no issues at all. I know.
AnyPay, making that very easy with the QR codes. I'm not exactly sure how that works, but I know AnyPay is a very good option for a merchant to use.
Have they got those terminals as well? I think point of sale.
I'm glad you brought that up, because we that was another thing we're testing, is an AnyPay option on our site. And so that, I mean, I have like this list of things.
I'm very inspired by what you guys are doing. I'm
you've gone deep.
Like by myself over here, trying to figure it all out, and there's just so much to keep up with and so many different options. But it's all extremely innovative and transformational for the user and the merchant and the everything. So this is really cool to see what you guys have built, and we're more than excited to collaborate and help with this massive undertaking of educating the masses, because it's really difficult, and we all are kind of winging it, trying to figure out what's working best, throwing the spaghetti at the wall.
That's a good description.
So I'm very inspired and excited to see how what you guys have built grows. And I also plan to, start reaching out to more merchants and businesses in my area. So whatever you find that's working, please share, and we'll just duplicate. The whole thing I'm trying to build is just to put something together that can be kind of like a turnkey blockchain-based business model that anyone can adopt as an entrepreneur to start generating an income for themselves. So you guys are doing the exact same thing. Everything you're doing can easily be duplicated by other people, and we can start creating these sustainable streams of passive, residual, long-term, evergreen income opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, the most exciting part when people really wrap their mind around that. So it's just getting that education.
Yeah, so we're so happy that that you guys that you've just found us.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to find people that are into BSV and that they're real people and that they're not like spam bots or I think Jay talks to people. So Jay and I still like we both use the Twitter account. He uses it more. He's more interactive than I am. I always try to put like this is Ray on there just so people don't get confused. And then
What's the
sometimes
Twitter handle? What Twitter handle is that?
For Real World BSV.
Yeah.
I think it's just Real World BSV is what it is.
Okay.
And I have my personal Twitter's Kitty Treats. It's a really old handle.
That's right, yeah.
But I try to hop in there just so it's not as confusing. So it looks like I'm like faking all these accounts.
Yeah, no, that's right.
What about
Real
Twitch?
World BSV.
What about Twitch? What's your Twitch handle?
Twitch, I think is, I don't know the number, but it's Wind Chimes Magic. And then Jay's is, I don't remember. He has a couple handles and I don't remember which one it is. I think it's iShall, like ISHALL. Yeah, we started on Twitch and then Jay started kind of telling me more about BSV, and that's how this all started. But yeah, now we have a lot on our plate.
Checkpointing.
I'm proud of you for being so tech savvy, man. That's
I know.
very cool.
Yeah.
I love to learn from people that are capable of really wrapping their mind around the tech journey here too, because it's a big
I'm still
You've
like
come a heck of a long way, Rachel, in a short time.
I break a lot of things, and then I it's a lot of like going forward and back. But I do love the help. I like to make like myself. I like to make videos and put them on YouTube when I have time. But like if you I definitely will help you for any questions that you have.
Well, if you would ever like to come on here and host with us, let us know, because that's another thing we could sort of collaborate a bit.
Yeah, I would like to get Jay on here too. He's pretty funny.
Yeah,
definitely do that. We'd love to network with him as well. And you are, an integral part of this ecosystem, as are all the people we're trying to have as hosts on here on a regular basis. So definitely come in and just wing it, come in blind
and just enjoy it. Yeah.
And like then we ask the same questions the audience would be asking, so I think that's it's just like an adventure every time. You never know where it's gonna go. So
hopefully in a good way. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. Thank you, Rachel, for your time. It was brilliant. Thanks, Casey. Thanks, Diddy. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Thank you.